大物だ。シャアか。
Why'd you get Lala involved, Char? You knew she wasn't meant to be a warrior! The Zabi leader's here. I can sense it.
You might have received such powers from Lala. I hope you're grateful.
Hello and welcome back to another Gun Club review. Today we're taking a look at the high-grade Zeong. Alright, starting off as always with the articulation. The head is on a rotation, so as you can see it doesn't get a ton of movement, and you could lift it up a little bit if you really wanted to, but it's not the most secure connection then. There is a hinge forward and back up here, then there's a hinge here, though technically this is a ball joint, but it only shifts a little bit. Though, to be fair, combine those together, it can actually look up pretty far, and it can look down decently as well. Then the shoulders have a very slight wiggle front to back, so it's a full rotation there. The inner shoulder is on a separate rotation, can go out just under 90 degrees. You get a fairly tight bicep rotation, 45-ish degree bend at the elbow. Hands are on a ball joint, and then all of the fingers are individually ball jointed as well. The waist can tilt backwards, not forwards, just backwards. The two main thrusters get ball joints, so they have full range there. And then the five little ones have a hinge and technically can swivel, but it's very tight. So it's not exactly highly articulated, but hey, this is a kit from 2001. It does things really well. Alright, getting into accessories and gimmicks. Let's start off with color correction. By extension, the stickers, or sticker in this case, since the only sticker it includes is the mono eye. Now, talking about paint, however, this piece in here is black. It's on the same runner as this. I just painted it to have a more matte finish, but you don't have to paint that. The inside of the shoulder here is supposed to be painted black. Honestly, that doesn't make a huge difference. Aside from that, it's pretty much just, black in all of the thrusters and along the edge of this. They show these painted silver, so I did, but honestly that doesn't really matter. Also, they do show in the instructions that these top pieces are painted gray, so I just did the trim, but honestly you can barely see that anyway, so I don't really think it's that necessary. The black here on the sides, the purple in the main cannons, and then the thrusters on the hands. So honestly, that's really minimal, and if it wasn't for the purple on these, I'd say you didn't have to paint it at all. Now, getting into accessories, let's start off with the stand, because I'm getting tired of holding this up. There is a hinge for, being able to angle it forward or back. This is a weird, 3.5 or 4 millimeter peg. It's not 5, it's not 3, it's right in the middle of them, and honestly, it's a little bit annoying to get them up on a stand aside from this, but it is possible. And aside from that, obviously the head comes off, which, all kits can do this, but this is supposed to be a feature. And it just plugs in. They actually have the thruster area detailed, though I don't think that massive peg sticking out of it is particularly accurate. It's a little bit unfortunate they couldn't work in a moving mono eye, but honestly, 2001 kit, I can't hold that against it. And the final accessory, and by extension gimmick to talk about, is the hand bits. I think that's what they're supposed to be called. You get 2 of these, and yeah, you have to paint the green because these are on the gray runner for some reason, and you get 1 cable, and they tell you to cut it in half, but that's way too short to actually do anything with, so I'd recommend just leaving it in one piece and just, having 1 hand on a cable, or buying another roll or a piece of cable and just duplicating it, honestly. But this is really easy to do. You literally just pull off one of the hands, plug the wire in where the hand came out, and then stand up, and then plug the wire in to the peg that was already in the arm. Now, if it's this long, you're gonna have to, get a stand to hold it up with, but still, this looks way better than a little short one. Also, just quickly, you do get one leftover thruster, just because this is a duplicator runner and it uses 5, as well as quite a few leftover polycaps. Honestly, they were pretty generous with this one. And as for a quick size comparison, the Zeong is really big. It's genuinely about the size of a master grade. I mean, minus legs, obviously, but the size of the body. This thing is huge. So, to wrap this review up, the Zeong was alright. I mean, you have to keep in mind it's a kit from 2001, so the articulation's not going to be amazing or anything, but then again, the Zeong doesn't really have very much articulation in the show, so it's nothing really to complain about. Yeah, 45-degree elbows, but not like it ever shows it with more of a bend than that anyway. And honestly, the lack of articulation is made a lot more forgiving because it doesn't have any legs. So there's not really any crazy poses you'd want to put it in anyway. I wouldn't call it an amazing kit, but it has a really interesting build and has a pretty demanding presence on your shelf, especially if you get an action base and have it up on that. I'd say if you're interested in picking this up, it's worth it. Anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, helps a lot. Subscribe and hit the bell for future reviews. Go follow me on Twitter for updates, and consider supporting me on Patreon so I can keep making reviews just like this one. And as always, until next time, happy building.